Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be interviewing the director of Words Unspoken and asking her a little bit about her journey as a director. Hello, Simran.
Yes, hi, I'm Simran, the director of Words Unspoken.
So, from what we hear, this is your second film?
Yeah, I'm still quite new to directing, so this was definitely a fun experience for me.
How would you say your directing skills were before this project?
I'd say my directing skills were a little rough in the beginning. My first film was a great experience. I struggled a little bit with taking the initiative in the group discussions and fostering, teamwork. But going into this project, having the same group was definitely easier, and it put me at an advantage. I still had to challenge myself to step up, but I think I was able to be a leader when I was needed. Honestly, I also struggle with telling people what to do. As director, you have to be able to make decisions. There's no hard feelings. It's just sometimes things need to be redone, and you have to just get it right. So that was something I really had to grow into.
Oh, yes, I understand. Was there anything specific that you learned throughout the production days of filming?
Definitely, I do think so. I think that I was able to really embrace the art of going with the flow. There were quite a few issues during production. Some days I was the only one available, other days equipment wasn't there when we needed it. But you know what? Sometimes you just have to roll with it.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, for sure. So, on day two of filming, I was unexpectedly the only crew member who could show up, and that was a huge challenge for us because filmmaking has so many different parts. The recording, the slating, audio recording, video recording, operating the camera. It's really not a one-person job. And my cast was frustrated with it. They were thinking that we'd have to reschedule, but I assured them that we would still be able to get things done. So I ended up getting one of my castmates' little sisters to help with slating and the audio recording, and I did the cinematography, the directing, and we made it work. So it wasn't ideal, but in the end, it's about adaptability, and I think that that's really important for a director to have. Yeah, and another thing I think that helped me get more comfortable with being a director and filmmaker was just being comfortable with my equipment. So since I had to record myself one day, I was able to get familiarized with the camcorder, and I was able to stabilize some shots on the tripod. I was able to hold it handheld. And before this, I hadn't really used my camcorder a lot, so I was able to feel more confident throughout this process.
Wow. Is there anything in post production that helped you develop your skills too?
Yes, so I actually did a lot of editing, even though I was the director. My editor and we kind of butted heads a couple times, especially over the flashback scene. The way he had initially edited it didn't fully convey the emotions that I, as the director, wanted it to convey. It wasn't what I had envisioned. And he just didn't understand that I wanted it to have a certain feeling. I wanted it to express that Riley's emotions were confused and jumbled, and I wanted that to be visual. So I actually ended up taking over that section of editing, and honestly, we both think it turned out beautifully. That process helped me get more familiar with using Adobe Premiere Rush because before this I had never used Adobe. I had always left all the editing to my editor. But as director, I think that I've learned it's important to be hands-on.
Is that so?
I used to just hand over all of the footage and just trust the process and believe in my editor, which of course I still did believe in my editor, but this time around I was able to give more input and collaborate well with my editor. And then I learned that post-production is just as much of part of directing as it is being on set. I still had to give instructions and, give my input and tell if this did turn out how I wanted it to, or if some things could use more work. And yeah, learning how to edit certain sequences myself, like the flashback scene, really helped me expand on my editing skills.
Looking back, what's one thing you're most proud of?
I would just definitely say it's how much I've grown as a director. Because at the start of this, I thought that producing, and more specifically directing, was just about getting the right shots and telling people what to do. But I think I've learned that it's so much more than just that. It's about creating a vision and making sure that all elements of the film, no matter how big or small they are able to capture that vision and tell a story and show that the story has meaning.
Final question. If you could give one piece of advice to your past self before starting this project, what would it be?
Yeah, I definitely would have told myself to just trust the process. things are gonna go wrong and you can't always prevent that from happening, but you just have to go with the flow. Some of the best moments can happen unexpectedly. Like, for instance, in the flashback scene, I didn't entirely plan all of the clips that were in there. I just saw my cast hanging out and I said, oh, wait, that's cute. Let me record this, you know? So I think it's important to stay flexible and to adapt to whatever changes come your way. And stay open, have an open mind, and be willing to learn. And don't be afraid to take risks, for sure.
Thank you for watching this interview with the director of Words Unspoken.